God's attitude is toward that person, you must embrace, you must adhere to. So he loves your enemy. He loves all of his children. He wants the best for everybody, and that's got to be your will. And if you think they're evil, consider you got to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they really do believe their own BS, and it's not up to us to judge them, to condemn them. We don't own them. That's the basis for saying you can let it go. You led a horse to water. You tried to convince them. You used divine tact. You tapped into the Holy Spirit to give you the right words and the right spirit to try to reach people and turn their thinking around, because you say, but they're on the highway to hell and they don't know it. They're about to fall into a deadly pit with vipers, and I know about it. And I've got this duty, this obligation, this responsibility as a friend, as a fellow human being, to God, to man, to my soul, to inform them, enlighten them, and warn them, and caution them. And you understand? And if I fail to do it, then I got to live with the implications, the ramification. When they fall into that pit, I can blame myself. So yeah, we're all culpable. We're all culpable. Me too. I haven't taken a bullet to the brain for the cause. Maybe someday I'll have to. Whatever happens, happens. But I thank God I'm an American. How do you like the way I pronounce that, right? Maybe like some guy from the South. I don't know how they speak. I'm bad at imitating accents, but I'm an American. I know that much. And I thank God I'm an American. But you know, I lived in England and Ireland, and believe it or not, you start picking up the accent just so you don't sound different, right? So that's really what happens in these places. But I've noticed places, because I lived in Connecticut for a while, and you hardly hear any accent from people anymore. And that can happen because I think we're so mixed up now, you never know. Sometimes I can't tell a British accent from an Australian one or a South African. You've got to be, tuned in pretty well, but I can't, the Irish and the English had different, a little bit different. The Scotch, of course, but they're all speaking English. Look at the Canadian. Hey, I like the Canadian. Hey, maybe that's because I'm part Canadian, Indian Canadian. I got a quarter of that from my dad, who's half Canadian Indian. But friends, you know what? The stuff that I bitch and moan about is the stuff that can be fixed, solved, changed. And it's not, because evil men will not allow it. They will not allow true capitalism. They will not allow universal prosperity, even though we the people are figuring it out. That there's no reason in the world why everybody can't be prosperous. Okay, there's no justification. Nobody out there with any kind of clear conscience that cares about soul and judgment day, the day of reckoning, and explaining our belief system to God is going to justify these farm workers being cheated out of fair pay, or factory workers, or retail workers, or any other workers out there. You please understand the implications. This is serious business. How you think, what you believe is okay, how do you justify it? How do you rationalize it in your mind? Or do you just pick the ignorance is bliss card and say, you know something, it hurts my head? My answer is do what I did. That's it. I'm teaching by example, the best way to teach. You understand? I got prosperous, I went to school, and I got a good career, and I made lots of money. And not to care. Divorce yourself from your fellow human being. Maybe God turns out to be just like you. You didn't make yourself. What do you know about making a human being? People talk a self-made man. What the hell are you talking about? God owns all of us. God's the sovereign. He created us. He gave us existence, life. You understand? We accredit one with that. We glorify one. We thank one for that. Do nothing. You're no better than anybody else. And if you have that mindset, that elitist mindset, that's an evil mindset. How are you going to stand before God and justify your BS, your belief system? So you think I'm not everybody's friend? You see what I mean? I'm trying to reach everyone. I'm really genuinely, sincerely trying to reach everyone. I'm a selfish man. I'm trying to be happy here. But I want people to be ready. If today's your last day on earth, are you ready? Are your values right? Are they in line with God's values? Is it you and me? Do you understand? That is it. We're it. We're at the apex, okay, of values to God. Do you embrace that same truth? Are those your values? The least of men is Jesus Christ. Do you embrace that truth? That's what Christ said. So whoever you honestly believe the least of men to be, do you care about them like yourself? Are you living by the golden rule in all your business affairs? And be prepared to stand before God and justify why you do or don't. And, I talk about the media pumping out malevolent information. That's worse than just misinformation or disinformation and propaganda. But it's the stuff they omit from the newscast, the stuff they ignore. Okay, this is the silence speaks volumes. So that's really the malevolent information is so circuitous, in such a roundabout, tricky way that you just can't wrap your mind around it. See, normal people that have a godly instinct, they really have to struggle to get into the minds of evil people and all the evil evil elitist minions out there, because people that are just going with the flow, the path of least resistance. I was trained, I'm an educated, learned person, I got a good job, I got a good career, I've made tons of money. I don't know what's wrong with you losers, but drugs, alcohol, laziness, I don't know, stupid, I don't know, but you know what, it's working for me, man. Yeah, I'm worth this amount of millions of dollars because I got that 401k and I got all this money. I'm making X amount of dollars a year. I got a contract. I got all kinds of financial security. So I support the system. Rah, rah. I support the trajectory, the direction we're going. With what, a $30 trillion debt and growing? And the news media won't talk about that at all, the implications of that. They won't try to educate people that when they talk about housing values, they don't say it like this. The worth of your housing dollars is going to fall dramatically this year. What are you going to do? You're going to scramble? You're going to be able to get your minimum wage? Well, I need $5 more just to offset the increase in the cost of living, my housing cost. And then the ripple effect, the cause and effect, the chain reaction. Everybody's scrambling. They need more money for this and more money for that. Everybody needs more for their services or their commodities or combination thereof. And I'm a radical loon for saying, well, maybe we ought to siphon off some of that $50 billion a year and start buying permanent dwellings because, a kid can understand the financial advantage over purchasing as opposed to renting. And that's all we do with that Section 8, $50 billion a year. And then they're going to charities. They go, oh, you got to contribute to this charity, that charity, and all this. As a taxpayer, the cost of living is a freaking tax. They say hidden. It's not hidden anymore. You understand how they carry this national debt? It's through currency debasement, making you pay, not them. It doesn't come out of the pockets of fat cats. What? I paid as much tax as Trump. What, he's $750? He's a multi-billionaire? They get lawyers, dude. Who can blame them? It's legal. That's the priest class that comes up with these political class that they insulate themselves from the taxes, these onerous taxes they put on people, and the way they make the public pay is by debasing the money. And we don't know. The mainstream media, I'm confused, justifiably so in my mind. Are we trying to create jobs, or we can't get enough workers? You hear both coming out of the mainstream media. You wonder why people are discombobulated, ignorant, confused, stupid. That's where they want you. Disempowered, lacking confidence to speak out bravely, boldly, and tell people to score. And don't let them weasel out of it with an ignorance is bliss defense. Say, no, that ship sailed a long time ago. Didn't you see that? It's gone, man. It's past the horizon, dude. Get with it. Wake up and smell a steaming pile of dog poop. That is my beloved nation, America. And the only way we're going to salvage it is with the very hand, the very finger of God intervening on the behalf of the righteous, the meek. Just the decent people out there, friends, on the right and the left. That's Republicans and Democrats. Socialists and capitalists, I appeal to. Okay? Conservatives and liberals, okay? People of every color, genders, okay? Male and female, okay? And whatever else you want to call yourself. I appeal to everybody as your brother, okay, is let's be empowered and demand justice for the least of men. If we're going to put a bandage on the wound of humanity, let's do it where it's logical, where it makes sense to put a bandage, where we're hemorrhaging as a collective body. And that is with people suffering needlessly. That's such a key word. It's needless. Nobody can refute that. It's needless. That's a big, kind of a big deal. We're all without excuse for tolerating homelessness in this country. It's evil, ungodly. A Christian nation, God's ashamed of us. Christ would be ashamed